This is part 4 of going through the map functions and widgets in the MnSHIP application. I'm going to open up the public map. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the various layers that are on the map. I'm going to go to Duluth by where the Glensheen Mansion is to illustrate some of these points. Okay, the first thing you see here in the table of contents are the MnSHIP points, lines, and polygons. So each property within the application has different geometry associated with it. Sometimes that geometry is a point, sometimes it's a line, sometimes it's a polygon, sometimes it's a combination of those three different geometry types. But in the application, you have to turn on the points, lines, or polygons to see the specific geometry type. You'll notice that some of the points are green and some of them are red. The ones that are red, I've just been inventoried. The ones that are green are ones that are known to be listed or eligible for the National Register. The same is true with the polygon and line geometry. One important thing to remember in the MnSHIP application is not every property in the application has geometry. There's somewhere between 5 to 10% of the total properties in the application that don't have any point, line, or polygon, so they will not show on this map. Additionally, the only geometry that shows on the map is the geometry for the most recent version of that property. So for instance, if this point used to be over here, and then it was updated and moved over here, you only see the most recent version of the location. You will not see the old version. Okay, when I click on a point, it brings up a pop-up window. And here, because I did a search result, it's bringing up the search results. But if I want to scroll through to the pop-up of the point, I can click this over, and now it's the pop-up to the actual point, the actual property in the application. So in the pop-up, it shows me the historic inventory number, the property name, the address, the type, the address geocode, and this other identifier, which you don't have to worry about. So only points have this address geo. And what that was is when we were securing locations for these different properties, we had to enter their address in a way that a geocoder would understand. So this is the address that's in the database. This is the address that we use to geocode. They will not always match. So don't worry about if there's a big difference between the two of those. If you want to actually open up the form from the map, you just click View Form, and it opens up the form in the application. So there's a little map that shows where that particular property is, and then it shows all the database fields here. And I'll go through this in a subsequent video. Okay, back to the map. So the lines and the polygons also have similar pop-ups showing the historic inventory number and those other values. Okay, I'm going to go towards St. Paul now to show you restricted properties, what those look like. Okay, on the public map, there's certain properties that the location is restricted. On the private map, these locations are not restricted. So in any case, this box here is indicating that there is a property somewhere within this 1 square mile that has a restricted location. So it won't show me any particular information about it. All I can do is click on the box, and then it'll show me the inventory number for the restricted property that's within this 1 square mile. And that's all the information you get. If you have a business need to understand more about that property, get in touch with SHPO staff and they can help you help determine the best way to get you that information. Okay, I'm going to go through some more of the layers. I'm going to turn these guys off for now. And we're going to be looking at the reference layers. Okay, I just turned on the historic aerials, not georeferenced. And what this is this is streaming data from the University of Minnesota's Minnesota Historical Aerial Photographs online website. So what these different dots are different aerial photos from different decades. If I turn on the legend here, it'll show me that this color here corresponds to aerial photos from the 1920s. This one is from the 1930s and so on. So let's click on a map, an aerial photo from the 1940s. So I click on that. It gives me the name of the aerial photo, the year it was taken. But what's really important is I can actually open the photo itself. Click view, and then it opens up the photograph. It's not georeferenced, it's just a photo image, but it has, this layer has really good coverage across the entire state, so it's very useful. Okay, the next layer I'm going to go over is the passenger and freight railroads circa 1930s. So in Minnesota, the maximum extent of railroads was reached right around the 1930s. So this layer shows you all the railroad lines that were active at that time. There's 15 or so of these lines. Each one has a different symbology associated with it. If you click on one of these lines, you'll see that the group and the name of the line comes up. That was not a great example. Let's do this guy here. So in this case, the group is this long name here, and then the name is the Union Pacific Railroad. Okay, I'm gonna go to another layer here, turn that off, and go to National Historic Landmarks. So National Historic Landmarks is a static layer that just shows the boundaries for the various National Historic Landmarks in the state. So this is just showing the boundaries, like I said, in the NHL. There's no pop-up associated with this, but there is a label that says the name of the property. Now, bear in mind that if this property has also been inventoried, there will be a corresponding property in the MnSHIP application. So in this case, the James J. Hill House has been inventoried. So if you wanted to see the inventory form for it, you would need to actually just open up, turn on the MnSHIP points, lines, or polygons, and then this is the actual entry for the James J. Hill House in the application. Okay, there's a similar set of data for both the historic sites network and the State Register of Historic Places layers. I'm going to turn off this layer for now. Now, these are properties that are defined in state statute. So these are specifically called out in state statute. Much like the National Historic Landmarks, these ones might also have been recorded in the inventory, and if they are, they will have a corresponding point line or polygon associated with them. So let's go over here to the Urban Park Historic District. This one happens to be a property that's on the state register. If I click on it, the pop-up comes up. It gives me the name of the property, the citation in the historic statute, the subdivision of that citation, and then it links to the actual statute language itself. So I can search within this document for Irvine Park, and then it actually shows you the exact citation. The same citation link is also in the historic site network, so I won't show you that right now. Okay, an additional layer that we have is the statewide parcel data. So this is parcel data showing parcel extents that are provided by the counties for the 49 counties that have opted into a data sharing agreement. So although this is called statewide parcels, it only includes the counties that have agreed to share their data. If you click on the parcel, the pop-up, it shows you the PIN number, the address, the zip code, the plat name, the lot block, and importantly, the year built for the primary building within the parcel. Now, keep in mind, all of this data is only as accurate as the county data itself is. So always verify the year build. Okay, the next layer I'm going to show you is the public land survey system layer, and this is just the township range section data for the whole state. You'll see here that the squares are the sections and the label is the section number. If I click on it here, it shows me the township, the range, the direction, and the section for that particular PLSS combination. The next layer is the HPC and CLGs layer. Turn that on, and this is just showing the boundaries of historic preservation commissions and certified local governments circa about 2021. So this is data that is static, but it's a helpful indicator of whether or not a location has an HPC or a CLG. The pop-up here would just click and tell you the name of the municipality or the unit of government, and then whether it's a CLG or HPC. Okay. The additional layers that I'll go through include the tribal government. So this shows the boundaries of the reservations and Native American communities within the state. So over here I'm by the Shakopee, Metawakan, and Sioux community. And the pop-up just tells you the name of the tribal government. Additionally, you can see here that I have the county boundary on here. And there's no pop-up associated with this, but there is a label that's telling you that this part's in Scott County. So I'll turn that off. We also have the city boundaries. So this just shows you the boundaries of the cities, and then the label just shows you the name of that particular city. There's no pop-up associated with that either. Similar for the townships, where it shows you the township name, there's no pop-up, and then the township boundaries. Okay, the last layer I'm going to show you is the georeferenced historic aerials. So unlike this earlier historic aerials, not georeferenced, these are georeferenced. So then when I add them to the map, they'll actually project in the exact location where that is for the overlay. So I'll illustrate this here down in Dakota County. All these other ones are turned off. Now, these are all the aerial year series that we have here. You'll see they're gray, so I'm zoomed out too far. So I'll need to zoom in some more before those will turn black and be viewable. So if I turn on 1937, it takes a minute, but then it pops up here. If I turn on that, turn off 37 and turn on 51, then I'll be able to see the 1951 aerial. This is data that's provided by a subset of counties. I believe there's somewhere around 10 counties. These are the ones here. And the coverage is variable. Some counties have over 10 years, some counties just have 1 year.